Ay, marica.
Dice, ¿cómo?
Parceros. Still got no voice, pero ahí vamos. El parcero Danny checking in con el parcero Andy. This is the Parceros Take, episode 48. Andy, take it from here, bro. I have no voice, bro. Y la verdad no quiero ni hablar, parce. No, esto es para ni tener este parche, weón, pero hay que hablar de lo bueno y lo malo. Yo sé que la gente quiere hablar. ¿Qué dice el chat?
Parceros, what's going on? We're here. We're live again. As we promised, we'll be here, win, lose, draw, whatever, to talk Selección Colombia. The latest what happened to the Colombian national team was a 2-2 draw with Paraguay in Barranquilla. We'll talk about everything, and we're here to talk through it together, man.
Literal. Yo, we put on Instagram, we put a story, we put a question box. El que quiera caer, caiga. We gotta, like Jay said, there's a lot to talk about. And we're going to bring some people in at the end, después de lo bueno, lo malo, lo feo, so we can chat. So, let's get with it. Se viene candela y háblame, parce. Es que, la verdad, como dice Bro David, estamos jodidos, ¿no? ¿Estamos o no estamos jodidos?
Man. It feels like it right now. It's not a good feeling for sure. Uno pensando antes del partido que, it was going to be a good response from Colombia and the way they bounced back. Y for the first, 20 minutes, it did seem that way. Pero, parece, if there's a game, I'm going to just put it out this way because this was talked about a lot after the game. El peor partido de la era de Néstor Lorenzo. Así de simple.
Facts.
And I think that says a lot in many different ways for the way that game went out.
I would even add to that, too. And esto es lo que me preocupa. It's also James' worst game en la era de Lorenzo. And it's not a coincidence. To me, it's not a coincidence. It shows the codependency that Lorenzo has on James, that even when James is struggling, like, he's still... I have nothing to say about it. I'm stressed, bro. Like,
yeah.
Just thinking about it. I've been trying to wrap my head around it, trying to be objective about it, and there's no other way around it.
Yeah, I think when you break it down, it was a lot of people's probably worst game or bad games in general, which is a bad time to have that. It's never a good time to have a bad game, but in this moment, in the way that things happen with the last few matches, losing in Brazil last minute, that Uruguay game, that Ecuador game, this felt like, okay, this is going to be the moment where things kind of change a little bit, and it should have been that way. And instead, we saw a lot of bad individual performances. Therefore, the collective was not good itself. So it's kind of hard to say, things happen. We had 1 or 2 or 3 good players. Yeah. There were a lot of bad performances, and there was no collective there, and that's what happened. You saw little cohesion in that team against Paraguay, and that's, like you said, the problem to me. That's the most concerning for sure.
You can't go up 2-0 and tie at home. It's a loss.
Yeah,
especially the way they're doing it. We're having strong, even with Brazil going 1-0, we're having strong first halves. So the starting lineup is the starting lineup, even with bad games, even when James playing bad, even with, I would also add Rios in the conversation. Rios is having questionable games in the midfield. Dani Munoz, it's hard to, like, I have mixed feelings with Dani because he's getting hammered everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes, the corner was his fault.
Sure.
But also Camilo kind of, he had a lot technically, like if you look at Camilo Vargas' movement and Danny Munoz, it's like an equal fall. So if you're gonna go at Danny Munoz, you know what I mean, you gotta go at Camilo Vargas too. But the thing about Danny is that he's on that right side by himself.
Yeah.
So Danny's on the right side by himself, and he's having Lorenzo has Arias to cover that side because James is not going to come down on defense. The problem is that at that high intensity of a game with Brazil, with Paraguay, we're gonna get tired. So of course he's gonna get tired.
Sure.
When I'm talking about who he is, Arias. Arias will get tired. The problem is he's the only guy helping us block that side.
And he's still the first sub. Why?
You can't take out Arias because you take out Arias, you're putting Danny Munoz on a disadvantage every time. Look what happened against you put Carrascal on that side. Against over here, like same thing, bro. Like who's gonna help Danny Munoz? I get it. Like I don't know, bro. Like it's statistically, tactically speaking, Alfaro, who's known to kind of play ugly and not make adjustments, made the freaking adjustments, and we're still talking about Nestor Lorenzo. Out of 12 points, you got 1 point, bro. Like that's unacceptable, dude. That's unacceptable against winnable games where we started playing well in the first half. Vacunan y ya.
Yeah, I think after those two early goals, which shout out to Lucho and Duran.
Against Brazil. Carrascal no está en la banca. He started against Brazil.
It felt like, okay, cool. They're going to play the game that everybody that at least we expected them to play, right? They were going to show out. But what happened with that early lead is, like you mentioned, Alfaro was forced to basically make changes in the game. And as everybody's been saying, le dio sopa y seco a Nestor Lorenzo Parce. Like he coached circles around that dude. Like it was crazy. The amount of just the game that Paraguay played in general after going down 2-0 with no fear, and it benefited them obviously because they're like, well, we have to go play the game now, right? We can't kind of sit back. Maybe they wanted to, but that wasn't going to happen. Pero, yo, if we're being 100% honest, like if Enciso doesn't get hurt, we probably lose that game without a doubt. Like the fact that Enciso was doing whatever he wanted in the midfield, that nobody could really stop him. Our midfielders were not tracking him. The back line was sloppy. Cuesta had an awful game. Like it's crazy that, like you're saying, we're talking about now this situation with Nestor where we were probably 2 months ago talking about being unbeaten for so long and being in that second place spot and being one of the best teams in South America, maybe one of the best teams in the world. It's the same team. It's the same coach. It's the problem. It's the same tactics. It's the problem that it's the same mentality because something has drastically changed, and that I still don't understand.
I gotta go with what Isa said. You see it? You see it on the chat?
Where what do you say here?
Peckerman era algo distinto. No, papi, never mind. I gotta go with Peckerman no tenía miedo a atacar. El pecho de Peckerman contra Inglaterra. In my opinion, I think the same thing happened with Peckerman. It's they're out of the same lineage. It's like I don't know what it is. If the first strategy doesn't work, then it's like they freak out and it's like they try to put players instead of strategies, bro. What was the strategy of putting Campas in, bro?
And this is my thing, bro. Campas was in La Tribuna for the first game against Brazil, correct? And then he's the first sub off the bench. Like something about that doesn't sit well with me. Not even the fact that it was just for James, the fact that he's even in that game, because then you hear Lorenzo after the game, the clip that you sent me saying, I think the subs worked out well. We finished the game in the attacking end. Like, of course you did. You had to go attack. You should have had the whole game in the attacking end, first of all. Second of all, why are you only making 2 subs? Where are you going? You're going to bring those other 3 subs home? Like, ¿pa qué? En ningún mundo, en ese momento, you have to say, I'm only going to make 2 subs, not having, like, they have the players on the bench. And my thing that I don't understand, and we failed to talk about this the last game, but I'm trying to bring it back, is because when Davinson got hurt in that Brazil game, Nestor said that break, because it was a long break, to say it was about 10 minutes, that they were basically stagnant because of the injury. He said that break was almost like a recovery period. Instead of him making it an adjustment period, he called it a recovery period for Lucho, who then we saw walking like 2 minutes after that. In this game, the same thing. When they had that VAR call before Enciso scores that banger, once again, it was a recovery period instead of it being an adjustment period. And what does he do? He brings in Jerry Mina instead of adjusting a different way. Like, why are you not using these moments to your benefit? Because then you're coming out and talking about it, saying, "Oh well, we think the players are fit to go 90 XYZ." But the point is, if a player is not having a good game, and you could see that Richard Rios has not been having good games, when you have players on the bench that could fill in that role and at a good capacity, or at least give it a different look, why are you not making that move? What's holding you back from saying, you know what, Rios, I'm going to put you on the side right now. We're going to have somebody else come in here. I think to me, it's a lack of competition. And, you know, we make all these jokes about Mateus Uribe not being there. Maybe if Mateus Uribe was there, he would have been a sub too. And maybe that way he would have took Richard Rios off. I'm just speaking out because I just don't understand why. Like the title of the episode, Ciego lo ve, and they're all been saying it, and Caracol and RCN, no podemos todos estar confundidos y Néstor Lorenzo no.
Es imposible. Parce, para que lo puteen en el partido, like, for us, been a while, para que putean un coach. Parce, ok, digamos que el man no es estratega, pero ponga los jugadores que tienen que jugar.
Sí, claro.
Por ejemplo, how is Arias the best player for the second game and he's the first one out, bro? Like, what are we not seeing? And then on the contrary, we know who's the best option to put in because James is not creating. All this talk about James in the set pieces and like el que pone la pelota y blah blah blah. James couldn't even kick a ball.
And to that point, we do have to give Alfaro credit because you know what they said? They're like, yo, we're taking James out of this game. Like, we're going to make sure that he's not relevant and let anybody else do something.
But he didn't even kick corner kicks.
No, es que no estaba para el partido.
No estaba para el partido. Y tenemos un crack que could take even better corner kicks, can take even better free kicks. Un mago en la banca, parce, que nos puede resolver ese partido era para Quintero, pa. Cuando yo vi que salía James, yo dije, parce, I stood up and started clapping. Until I saw Campas, weón. I was like, no, papi, no, weón, no puede ser.
You know what that Campas sub reminded me of? When Rueda Destroza, bro.
Destroza,
what are we doing, dog?
Voy a hacer cambios en la vida.
No, man.
Have they used that or no? Have they used that meme? No, we gotta use that.
Yeah, you gotta use that.
If y'all haven't seen that meme, like, I'm gonna drop it tomorrow, literally. Que llegan los Nicos. ¿Qué dice el chat? Like, I'm sorry, chat. Like we've been literally. This is like I haven't talked about the game at all, clearly, because I don't have a voice, as you guys can see. Pero the disrespect that I felt like Lorenzo has on the people, like I'm like venting right now. ¿Qué dice la gente? Enviado Jersey.
What up, Scuzzy? That's my cousin talking shit over there. I see Rich.
Danny looking stressed.
No, parce. Let's just get into the segment because there's so much to talk about. We're just gonna keep going around basically the same topics, I think, because there's not much good out of that game. So we're just gonna get back to the same point that we started at.
I like it, bro. Yeah, you're right because I'm stressed, bro. Lo bueno del partido. ¿Qué dice la gente? Lo bueno.
Lo bueno fue para mí
Lucho,
John Durán y Lucho.
Arias, John Hader y Lucho.
Se salvaron esos tres y el resto, parce.
Pura garra, weón.
One thing I will say about Duran is obviously so much is made about the way he is and his attitude and all these things. I love it personally for two reasons, because you could see it on the field and you see when in two situations when he won the header in the air twice on his own, and then when he almost on the floor won it, and then he got, I don't know if it was he got blocked or he missed. Either way, the energy is there. I guess they're saying like he plays como si todavía estuviera en el barrio, which is what you want to see from a striker. And the fact that he is going the way he is, like, I don't care what he's doing, celebrating or whatnot, but el tipo, respondió, and that's what we need from the striker. And Lucho finally is stepping up to be the person that everybody thought he would be with his team. The problem is nobody else stepping up alongside him.
Because I feel like James has to be it, bro. It's like there's something there. You see that? James plays bad, Lucho plays well. We're seeing like there's a trend there, bro.
Yeah.
There's something going on there that we have this dependency on James, bro. And I feel like I mean, he's one bad game. And I can't, go straight at James all the time. But like I have to go at him because of Lorenzo. Lorenzo's putting him in situations that,
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, ¿qué dice la gente? Yo, Colombianico.
Lucho is the goleador of eliminatorias, which is true, which is crazy that he's the number one scorer and we're in sixth place. That just doesn't sit right. And the second one is, yes, he does miss the next game for yellow card, so he won't be playing against Peru, which is a big deal. That's a big deal. Thinking about this game, not having Lucho there, and who that replacement is going to be. So
we know yo, you know what's crazy, bro? It is what, like, Lorenzo freaking pisses me off. I guarantee you he's not even gonna call Campas the next game.
Seguro, I wouldn't be surprised.
Like, you know, like he did Carlos Gomez. He'll play. Who else played on the wings? That will
it has to be Sinisterra if he's healthy, but we gotta hope Sinisterra is healthy.
He will call up. He calls up people, plays them, and then stop plays them. They don't call them up back again. Then why are you taking people? Why are you taking, like, it doesn't make sense, bro. I think there's something deep because, you know, Peckerman had his little red también, weón, que estaba vendiendo. You guys know. And if you don't, look it up. I wonder if this dude is doing the same thing because I don't understand. I don't understand why Quintero didn't play. But lo bueno, I'm sorry, rant. Lo bueno sí, papi, Lucho, weón. ¿Qué tal la que? Es que como, qué golazo, weón.
Golazo.
Qué pal, pa. He got him. I thought, man, I went back to that moment of, like, relief of, and there was like a release of, por fin, weón, por fin. Y mire, weón, estamos peor que antes.
I will say, I will add an additional one, and it's not par for the course, but Enciso, puta partidazo, y que like, all things considered, that goal, the one thing about Colombia, I also, it just, it makes me laugh that nos meten unos putas golazos.
Oh,
like, it's not like they're scoring some weak ass goals on us, dog. Like, que puta golazo que se metió ese tipo.
I mean, it sucks that we missed Davinson, and you could see that, like Davinson's a cornerstone for our defense, pero even with Davinson, I mean, look at el de, ¿cómo se llama? El de Valencia. El gol de él.
También golazo.
Igualito.
Igualito.
So there's a trend there. There's definitely a big trend there. Lo malo.
I'm going to say el nivel de, specifically de Muñoz. Just because he was the one, basically, I mean, I don't want to say the one, but basically, like, him not being in that Copa America final was something that we'll always remember because of how good he was during that tournament. And it sucks to, at some point we're gonna stop going back to the Copa America, right? But it's the most recent thing we have to judge, so of course we're gonna keep talking about it. But I know, like, all the media in Colombia is like, oh, we can't keep talking about that. Well, that's the last big tournament we saw Colombia in, and they played a really good job. But Dani's level has been worrying, and I think because of the level he was at so high in Copa America, all the rest of the defenders were pretty at that same tier. And I think he's kind of taking a step back along with people around him. Like we talked about the Chefrios, Camilo Vargas. Like, it's time, man. It's time to start looking at these. Like, if I'm Néstor Lorenzo, I'm truly thinking about signing Santiago Arias against Peru. I'm truly thinking about calling in a different goalie or two to give Camilo some competition. I'm truly thinking about giving Richard Rios competition. Because at this point, if you go out against Peru with the same 11 and they don't do well, that's it, dog. Like, that's it. Pa' que cha. You know what I mean? So to me, I'm going to start with Dani, but it's a lot of people that could be on that list for sure.
Yeah, lo malo is, for me, is how we're winning 2-0 at home, and you, like, the energy in the stadium should, like, propel our players to, like, get going, bro. So that's what home field advantage is. And for a while we've been talking about home field advantage. And don't get me wrong, when we played Argentina and we won 2-1 and I was there, you felt the home field advantage. And when I rewatched the game, you heard the home field advantage. Where is that now? And I don't know what's going on, and I don't know how long it's going to take them, que allá hay que cambiar de ese, papi, llévenlos porque los paisas vuelven a hacer una fiesta como sea. Llévenlos para Cali, papi, llévenlos que sea el Pascual.
Pereira, Pau.
Donde sea, huevón. Menos hasta el Campín, huevón, tiene ambiente, parce, esa es la vaina, huevón. hasta el Campín la arma, la hemos visto cuando la sub-20 juega allá, lo vimos cuando las mujeres jugaron allá. Hay que hacer algo, hay que hacer algo.
I think what you're saying to me is it's not even so much that it's just okay, wait, que juegan allá en el metro, que sea Barranquilla, lo que sea, because you know people go and all that. To me, it's two things: it's the federation. Obviously, the prices that they put on these games is hard for people. One and two is the home field advantage, and the whole thing about Barranquilla was the heat, right? I thought that was the whole reason why they were there. That the heat and it's a benefit. I haven't seen a home field advantage in that stadium for Colombia in a long time. Que los jugadores salgan angry, that the fans are whistling at them, chiflados, that they're yelling fuera Nestor y puta Lorenzo, whatever they were yelling. I mean, something has to change. I don't understand why they were like. I mean, I know why it doesn't happen.
Babe,
Why is there not a rotation?
I got a question. ¿Cómo vamos a poner esta conversación interesante? Who can make this conversación más interesante, papi? You want me to send you the link, bro? Come on. I'll send you the link.
And that's
¿Quién va a hablar de esto and have a good time, bro? Like,
yeah.
que traigo muñequitos, like, you know what I mean? Like, bro, this is what it is, bro.
I think a lot of people are saying it here is Jesurum, bro. And this problem is starting to stem up from the top now.
Yo,
It's starting to be
stemming from the top.
Yeah, like it's starting to come out way too like in the forefront where this is bad, bro, because he's not helping at all. Instead of capitalizing on the moment that he had, especially in Copa America, where he got arrested after the game and stuff like that. Like just certain things that just
you gotta understand. Queiroz, if I'm not mistaken, Queiroz didn't get scored on once at the Copa America he was in. Then qualifiers came around y le hicieron la camita. So what's going on after Copa America when we do something well, and then all of a sudden, hey, yo, I just connected those two dots. Like, hey, okay, stay fresh. You bored? Go look it up, bro.
I just said no segue. I think. I mean, obviously, it's probably not going to change anytime soon. I mean, at least the people are going, right? That's the one thing. Like, no estamos jugando en this type. That's the problem, though. This is the thing that gets me, and it's going to go to what we talked about last time, and go to the fail is the attitude, the mentality. You hear some of these players come out after the game and say, "Oh, you know, this is so important to us. Like, la selección matters, bro." You go on Instagram, Quintero's posting, Inestrosa's posting, James is posting, Lucho's posting, Cuadrado is posting like it's spiritual stuff. Why do we not see that attitude reflected on the field? And I know I said this the last episode, but I'm gonna not to use Argentina as an example, but did you see the energy they played Brazil with? They were like, yo, you're gonna come in here, you're gonna disrespect us, first of all, beforehand. Second of all, we already qualified and we're gonna show you the fact that we're playing at home and that we are the way we are. You can hate them por agrandados y por arrogant and all that stuff, but that's the energy that you need to have to be respected. And that's Colombia had it, and I feel like it's completely vanished out of nowhere. Like within the span of months. Because I think in Copa America, for sure, they were at that level. Y ahora mismo parece grave.
Bro, Colombia Nico mentioned something. I know he's been watching Palabras Mayores. ¿Ustedes sabían que antes que Lorenzo fuera contratado estaba caso cerrado con Scaloni? Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I heard a little bit about that, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
It makes a lot of sense, though, because you gotta. He's come from the Peckerman lineage, so who's the federation gonna go with para hacer lo que quieren hacer?
Jesurun ya tenía su mente pues en eso.
Porque como dijo acá Fabián González, y Mier y Vázquez, seguimos con papi, la experiencia de David Ospina y Montero en la banca, papi.
Y lo de Quintero, Quintero es ilógico. Es
volando, weón.
Like they've been talking about in Colombia saying it's disrespectful, and I kind of didn't want to use it that way, but the more I see it, I'm like, it is.
It's diabolical, bro.
Yeah,
it's disrespectful, it's diabolical, bro, manica. Es que no hay derecho, weón. No hay derecho de sentar a Quintero, parce, y el man tan humilde que he's doing motivational stuff, because he knows, like, es que hay que ponerlo, weón.
¿Será que Néstor es hincha de Boca y todavía está bravo por esa Libertadores? Se la tiene algo ahí, weón. No, yo no entiendo lo de Quintero, parce, sí es un descaro, parce, un descaro.
Acá dicen que hablen español. Aprende inglés. Se llama Parceros United, bro. So anyways, what are we doing next?
Yeah. What else?
Lo malo, estamos lo malo, lo feo, papi. Ya vemos quién es lo feo.
No, lo feo ya es Néstor Lorenzo, ya no se puede. Néstor Lorenzo, and I'm the first one because I'll come here. Last episode, I was defending him, and I was, on the level of like he's not coaching for his job. He's not necessarily under that much pressure because, like I mentioned, these games are played in phases, right? And the Brazil game, for Néstor Lorenzo's credit, all the dumb shit he says in press conferences, the one good thing he did say after Brazil was, I didn't think we played a bad game. That was cool. But la autocrítica after this game, it's like out of the, like, it's a non-existent. He's saying, el rendimiento falta. Es más el rendimiento, weón. It's not just el rendimiento.
It's your tactical decisions, bro.
It's you. It's on you.
Literally dijeron, how are your decisions? How do you feel about your subs? Lo de Jerry Mina, aceptable, because you're putting three center backs, three in the back, so you're kind of consolidating the back. Okay, pero Campas or James, like what's your take on that? They literally asked him that, and he said, I think I saw the strategy and I feel like I made a good decision. How is that your answer, bro? Like you're clearly taking zero accountability. And bro, the biggest question, what does everybody think? And I saw it at the beginning of the thing.
Is he out?
Like is his, and I saw it also in the chat.
Yeah.
Is his job in jeopardy?
It is not fully in jeopardy.
Yeah. 1,000% in jeopardy.
I didn't think that. I didn't think that after the Brazil game. And I think I was naive in that moment too, because I did hear a few comments, a few reports saying that if he would have lost against Paraguay, he probably would have been fired. I still don't believe that fully, but Duran and Lucho might have saved his job for another 2 months, right? Like if Duran and Lucho don't score those 2 early goals, the way that Paraguay played, that was fully a loss for Colombia. And I think if he loses that game against Paraguay,
no.
Chao.
A loss, papi, 5-0.
Yeah.
Le cuento goleada.
Yeah, y si obviamente, chao. So from what I know, from what I've been seeing everybody talk about, like I think he's good the rest of this way, unless they lose to Peru. Like if they lose to Peru, I think it's done. But I think he's good the rest of his way until the job is done, which is qualifying, which is the word that we were saying all last episode that dude was not saying how to in the chat, trying to figure out. Once that happens, they're going to reevaluate Lorenzo. And I think it's hard because if you get rid of Lorenzo after we qualify for the World Cup, now you're putting in a new coach there to start the World Cup. But it's about the way this happens, man. If Lorenzo qualifies for the World Cup and they beat
the chat in YouTube is active.
They lose to maybe Venezuela or Bolivia. Either way, like it's about how he turns around. In these
Juvi?
I don't know what
that is. Papi, culturízate, papi. Somos globales.
The way you were talking about. But either way, I think if it's these next 4 games, unless they lose to Peru, like he's going to coach these next 4 games. After that, I can't read it. But the way that it's going, he has the chance to turn this around, which I think he earned, right? He deserves it. But is he coaching for his job right now? 100%. Does he feel the pressure? 100%. And that's why I'm saying what I said earlier. Yo siendo Néstor Lorenzo, muestro garra, muestro huevas. And I say, you know what? If Donnie's not playing well, Santi. If Rios is not playing well, Castaño or somebody else. You know what I mean? Because if you're going to go with the same 11 and against a game against Peru and we see the same thing,
Como estamos hablando, ¿dónde está Sprilla? ¿Dónde está el Cucho? Como que, ¿dónde está Mier Vázquez? Papi, ya, weón. Like Román del lateral derecho. Like even put in Santi Arias. You're right, bro. Like even though I don't want to go back, pero that's the only option that's gonna make this team. Papi, llame a Mateos. Like, llame a Mateos. At least he was making a sub.
It's like, and I think it's not even so much the fact of just changing players. I think it's competition, bro. That's the problem. I think these players, Richard Rios right now, está muy cómodo, weón, because he probably sees it like, I'm not getting moved from my spot. Dani, seguro que está muy cómodo. I mean, we don't know what they're thinking, but even somebody like Cuesta that comes in that has a bad game, like, yo, you have to feel that competition in the national team. Like, this is not just your spot is promised. And because we talked about this last episode, and everybody, the people in the chat, we're gonna qualify. I wouldn't be too confident in that right now.
No, I'm over here making all these road to the
World Cup. We're lucky, first of all, but don't forget, Peru was a team that left us out of the last World Cup in Barranquilla. So this game against Peru is not like it's going to be an easy game that we got to beat them. No. Hay que jugar y hay que ganar, because cuando se van de confiados, we say in a bad situation, we lose to Peru, Venezuela wins that game. now saquemos la calculadora, because if we have to play Venezuela at the last game of the qualifiers and it's still open, don't even want to think about it.
Asprilla, Monsalve, Puerta, Angulo, Román. What's the guy?
Hey, con qué.
¿Cuál es el otro man de Flu que juega con Aries?
Yeah. I know you're talking
You know what
about.
I'm talking about?
I know you're talking about. Yeah,
He's nice too.
Yeah.
Not the left back, the other one. No, parce. Yo, shout out to yo, YouTube is popping. We got people pulling up from Iran.
The chat, Fuentes, Gabriel Fuentes. Yeah. Shout out
No,
to
I'm not talking about Fuentes. I'm not talking about Fuentes. I'm talking about the other guy.
Serna.
Ajá, Serna. Sí, colombianico, Gary. Yeah. Serna, papi. Sí,
The chat,
papi, la gente está informada. Eso es lo que me gusta. Que el chat está reinformado. Y hablando de informado, like we put on the Instagram story, we told y'all we were gonna let you guys pull up. Right now, we're bringing in for the first time one of you guys to come hop on. Que Colombianico, papi, no respondió y se estuviera acá, papi. So we're gonna give a round of applause to el parcero Isa. Lámelo, papi. Está manejando.
Papi, estoy manejando porque ando que voy con un filo de hambre, vale.
Béisbol, ¿de dónde es vos?
Papi, aquí estoy en Boca Ratón ahora mismo. Aquí en la Florida, uno representando Cartagena para el mundo, papi.
Ay.
Papi, dígamelo todo. Dígamelo todo.
Papi, te lo voy a poner en palabras del primo mío. Estamos sufriendo de hambre con la nevera llena. Más rápido es Agua de Cartagena haciendo un cambio de tubo por Nelson Mandela que este man haciendo un cambio en la cancha, vale. O sea, estamos mal. Papi, estamos mal. Pero te voy a tirar la plena ya.
Tírala, papi.
El cambio que nos cagó completo era sacar a John Arias.
Sí.
Claro, ya dos veces.
¿Por qué? Te voy a decir por qué. Porque este man le tocó hacer doble trabajo porque Dani Muñoz estaba perdido. Lerma estaba perdido. Y este man te estaba cubriendo toda la cancha. ¿Tú sabes quién falta ahí? Y James también, man. El creador no está. Si no está el creador, tienes otro ahí que juega literalmente lo mismo y te pega de lejos.
Igualito.
Y te pega de lejos.
Y de cerca también le pega.
Exacto. Y es un man que te va a atacar y te va a crear. Y es un man que tiene ojo en toda la cancha. Es que ahora mismo se volvió indefendible Colombia.
Lo de Lorenzo. Sí, lo de Lorenzo es indefendible.
Es que uno no entiende, ¿vale? O sea, no sé si es miedo, no sé, ¿vale? No sé, ¿vale?
No, pero sí es miedo, porque se cambió la camisa por fin y no le sirvió ni para chimba.
Marica, se fue para la iglesia para rezar y terminamos mondados ahí, marica, nosotros, ¿vale?
No, es que está cagado el miedo. Y si estaba con miedo antes, imagínese ahora mismo.
Papi, es que mira, tú tienes que estar mirando la vaina como es. ¿Cómo así que llegamos al final de la Copa América? Que gracias a Dios que yo tuve el privilegio de ver eso, ¿cierto? Por la segunda vez en mi vida. Pero, bueno, nos cagaron el partido. Pero tienes que, bueno, ahora tenemos que enfocar. Pero, marica, como dijeron ustedes, eran los mismos jugadores. No hay nada nuevo. Lo único que siempre cambia es la banca. Porque este man no tiene un equipo plantado ideal, ¿vale?
Sí, es verdad.
Y es lo que te digo. Sí, esos son los 11. Pero ¿qué es lo que pasa? El otro equipo va a hacer sus ajustes y ahí es donde nosotros nos quedamos así de piernas abiertas, weón.
Sí, man, es que ya tienen que mirarlo en esta manera, ¿vale? Si empatamos contra Perú, estamos graves. Y yo puse ahí un comentario que no es porque repechaje es que uno da pena que uno, siendo con los jugadores que tenemos de alta calidad, llegando a un mundial por repechaje, ¿vale?
Sí, papi.
Tiene que mirar las cosas así, ¿vale? Entonces, como dijiste tú, David Bach y Kevin Mier, yo pienso que son venezolanos porque ni lo miran. Ni lo miran, vale. Como yo, mira, te voy a tirar la plena. Si Colombia empata o pierde contra Perú, voy a comprar mi camisa vino tinto. Porque eso, por lo menos esos manes no me van a ilusionar. Yo sé que son malos, y esto me va a decepcionar. Pero Colombia me metió 15. Y son los mismos 15 que me metí con la mujer mía y me dejó ahí plantado. Con esperanza.
Papi, vale. Es la cagada. No, papi, hey, viejo Isair, papi, vamos a seguir invitando los apuntes geniales. Parece que la verdad es que yo no me puedo reír porque a mí me fascina el acento costeño y ellos se ríen o dicen cualquier monda y me da risa, weón, literal.
Es verdad lo que dices.
Papi, la re buena.
Siempre es un placer con ustedes. Ey,
No,
y lo
papi.
último para tirarlo. Falta alguien con el corazón de Wilmar Barrios.
Sí.
Lo estamos diciendo, lo están diciendo en el chat. Sí.
Wilmar, que es de mi corazón, del barrio La Candelaria para el mundo, que eso lo llevo aquí en el pecho conmigo siempre. Ese man no te lloraba, no te gritaba. Ese man llegaba y decía, yo no me freno con nadie. Yo no me, papi, porque este man viene de duro. Y él dice, ¿sabes qué? Me vale verga Messi, me vale verga lo demás. Yo estoy aquí, yo lo paro. Y eso que le falta a Richard Río y a Lerma, está por ti ahí y no lo meten. Entonces yo me quedo ahí. Si no va a meter a alguien con el corazón de varios, ¿para qué llaman a Richard Río y a Lerma?
No, tenés toda la razón. En un partido así contra Brasil o con Paraguay, el Barrio se hace echar.
Sí.
Ese man se hace echar. De una forma u otra, van a hacer así, o van a ensuciar el partido y se hace echar, weón. Y eso es lo que nos falta, pa. Tenés toda
Pero,
la
hey,
razón.
hermanos, gracias por tenerme,
No,
vale.
papi.
Me dio un gusto hablar con ustedes. Tengan un buen día, vale.
Siempre, mi rey. La re buena. Papi.
La tiró, pero
Ese
tiró.
man la tiró muy claro.
Son datos, Carlos.
Sí, papi, es que, bueno, ya tiene razón el parcero Fresh. Eso es lo que tenemos que hacer con estos programas. Por eso es que vamos a invitar al segundo parcero que siempre está en la re buena. Viejo Jay, háblamelo, papi.
Oh man, I can't describe it, man. It's disappointment, but it's a kind of disappointment where it's like it shouldn't be happening, right? You watch that game and it's just like you can't fault anybody else except Nestor, man. It's just, and that goes back a while. He's always, I feel like he's been sus with these changes, with these subs, with these lack of call ups, and just like Andy said at the start, when you're up 2-0 at home and you go down 2-2 or you go tied 2-2 rather, it just feels like a loss. No matter how many points it gives you 1 point, it feels like we got nothing from that. And it's just crazy, man. It's just crazy how, these are avoidable situations where I put in the YouTube chat earlier, avoidable situations like players scoring the goals of their lives against us, goals that are preventable, things that are preventable. And so these upcoming 2 games against Peru and Argentina, it's going to be important. And it's going to be important. I think it's really going to be the testament to decide whether Nestor keeps his job or not. And right now, I got to say, I feel like I'm on the board with keeping him, but under the condition that he recognizes what he's missing, what he's not doing, right? And you start bringing guys along and start understanding, all right, maybe some guys in this team are just not untouchable. Richard Rios, who else is it? Munoz. It's those guys that's like, yeah, well, sure, they've given us a lot. And
Sorry.
Oh, I thought I was.
Yeah, let him cook. Keep going, bro. My bad.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man. It's just there's players that you got to understand that they're not untouchable. Like I said, Richard Rios, Munoz. These are guys that we've seen good moments from them, right? But if they're having a bad game, like you were saying earlier, it's like, dude, just take them out, and we have the guys for that, right? That's what I feel like Nestor doesn't understand. Like we're not a team. Like I feel like in the Peckerman days, we had a team where it's like, okay, let's just say like Cuadrado, right? Like let's say if he got hurt, like we really didn't have a replacement for him, right? Because nobody offered what he offered. But now today is that we have that. That's the difference about Colombia today is that we have those guys. And it's just like, what is, you can only be blessed to have that because other teams don't have that, right? Look at a team like Ecuador, even though they don't have, I don't think they have as much talent as we do, but they utilize what they have, right? Just yesterday, they were starting a guy who's 17 years old, right? Who's never played a professional game for his club. And it's like, how are they able to do that? But we can't even give a call to a guy who's tearing it up in their clubs, 20, 21 years old, and that do everything. We had a guy that was finishing as a top scorer in the South American Championship, and we can't even do the least that we can do to accommodate him by saying, listen, you had a great tournament. We'll bring you along to the main guys and, just familiarize yourself because we may need you by the time the World Cup comes around. And so it's just little things like that I think keep us at bay. And it's just, it's inexcusable, man. It's just inexcusable. You watch these games, it's like,
Jay, are you happy with Ospina and Montero's leadership?
Oh man, listen, it's one of those situations where if Camilo goes down, I remember one of you guys were saying it. Oh, that's getting a little scary right there, right? And I was praying. Well, which game was it where Camilo went down? Was it the Paraguay game?
The last one. He went down. He went down after Alisson got hurt.
Yeah. And I was like, oh man, I hope he's good. Please get up. But nah, man, Camilo, he's been a good servant for us, but bro, at this point after the Copa America, I really thought it was like time to change gears and start giving opportunities to other guys. Kevin Mier is a guy that I've been advocating for months. David Vasquez, we've seen what he's doing in Italy, and it's just I just don't get it. But I made this point in the chat. I really think that, like you guys mentioned earlier, I have a feeling that there's something going on in the federation where we see guys like Campas, we see guys like Ospina, we see guys like Montero. I really think that there's too many buddy things, and it's kind of like something like representatives. Yeah. So like I was reading like briefly about it like not that long ago, something about Mier not being called up because of something with his like representatives, and like they had problems with the federation. They were like, yeah, we're not calling this guy up. But it's like you just gotta scrap all that, bro. Just utilize your best players. You want to win games, and just bring your best players. And it's just that's the issue that I think we've been having for a long time now.
And if you bring the best players, play them.
Play them,
like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, bro, that's my biggest thing. Like, yo, Quintero should have started. Yeah. This is a game. How come the game after Bolivia, Quintero started? He scores a free kick. What's against Uruguay? It was against Uruguay, no? Against Uruguay. That we ended up. Yeah.
And to Jay's point, that's exactly what I was saying the last episode. Like, you would think that a coach that's not Colombian would be fine doing that. Would be fine being like, you know what, forget all of this side politics and stuff like that. Like, we're gonna put, because once again, es imposible que todos vemos lo mismo. If they scored the 2 goals and they were great, right? It was a great time that they scored those 2 goals. After that, like, it was all Paraguay the rest of the game, the rest of the first half basically, and obviously the second half. Why are you not even thinking about making adjustments at halftime? Like, that should have been automatic. Like, I'm going to come out of this locker room with 2 changes right away. Instead,
neutralize the game. You don't have to go for the win, right, but neutralize the game.
They never controlled it at 1 second. Like, even when we scored the 2 early goals, Paraguay already had chances prior to. Like, they had already gotten to the final third and had some chances. So I'm like, yo, Paraguay was they followed the game plan to perfection. Whereas, like, this is the part that is starting to get me now, and I want to ask you guys, is now you're starting to see the divide. Now you're starting to see, like, I think Arias was saying, like, we didn't have any ideas after the game. And it's like, now you're starting to see, and from what the reports are, that some players are, I think, not a fan of Lorenzo at this point, and some are. And it's, why are you bringing Jerry Mina to the post-game press conference? That's another thing that pissed me the hell off. Like, that's
really, yo, like, you really putting Jerry like on, like, so people don't give him a negative, because people love Jerry Mina, bro. Like, I love, like, Jerry is so freaking nice, and he's nice to everyone. You put him right next to you because people aren't going to talk bad about Jerry Mina in the press conference. Literally, they're not going to talk bad about him in his face. Even the link I sent you, the guy was like, well, we kind of understand Jerry's putting Jerry in the back. No, we don't. Like, we really don't, bro. Like, he's not good off his feet. Like what are we doing? Are we just going for long ball? Again, long ball, Jerry, so we can get headers? And to my point is,
they would have started Jerry over Cuesta anyway.
Exactly. So the point to your question is, when have we had ideas? How has we had a great Copa America, but how did the goals come? Like, how were the goals coming from? Where were the goals coming from through Copa America? And when you take that deep dive, like, not a lot of them came from open play, unless we were scoring like 5-0 against, what is it, Panama?
Panama, yeah. This is a good one here, and I know he's been talking about this, the press in the chat a bit, and it goes to that tactic conversation. It goes to Nestor being able to kind of shift things around in the moment. He's not and it's not even just in the moment. He's not doing it, once again, when he's offered these 10-minute breaks for a video review or an injury on the field, where why didn't we see him be like, oh, everybody come over here. Like, we're about to put a little magnet board out with the little feet shots and move him around. And instead, every time you see him, he looks like he's nervous. He's looking around like there's no answers. And to the point, I think somebody made in the Instagram chat, like, what's the rest of the coaching staff doing? Is there a divide there? Is Amaranto not being allowed to make any, like, significant decisions? Because I heard after the game that they told him that Quintero was the sub that should have went in, and that Nestor was like, no, we're going with Campas. I don't know how true that is. Once again, I'm just saying what was reported on, but it seems like he brought in Campas for a certain reason, according to him. And what that reason was, it's hard to know, because we didn't see it.
It's right? Something that he saw during the game, he says. Something that he saw.
Un
ciego lo ve. Un ciego lo ve. ¿Qué dice Jay?
I mean, it's crazy. Like there was a clip I remember during the game, the Paraguay game, where the camera pans over to Lorenzo, and like you guys said, he had just this confused face, like he was just kind of letting everything ride out. And the adjustments. That's been the adjustment. Somebody mentioned the comment that you guys put before this about James and how he's not like pressing things like that. I've been a big James guy, right? Don't get me wrong. But when I watch these games, right, I put in the YouTube chat too. I feel like I have to be critical of James too because in the Copa America, right, his assists mostly came from set pieces, right? I think he had like 2 open play. Who was the guy that passed to Lucho against Panama? Was it James? I don't remember. But
it was James. He kind of put it over the top.
I just feel like because of how physically of a regression he's had, right, on his body over the course of his career, where he's not running as much as he used to 10, 12 years ago, right? It's just an aspect of the modern game that requires your guys to be runners, to be movers, right? And if we have James, right, who's not going to do that, let's just say we make the adjustment from a 4-3-3, like Lorenzo likes, to a 4-2-3-1, like we did against Brazil with Lerma and Rios as a pivot. If James is playing that center attacking mid position, that guy has to be the glue guy. He's the glue guy that puts everything together, whether it's tracking back to get the ball, making runs in behind, but he's not doing any of that, right? And when he gets the ball, he's forced to retreat it back because you have somebody like Bruno Guimarães from Brazil, who's athletic enough, who can close him down. And so I just feel like we lose a lot of opportunities when we're having players that can't really cover that ground, which is why I've been an advocate for guys like Asprilla, Monsalve, guys that can give a freshen up to that number 10 position. Asprilla especially, because I've always been an Asprilla guy ever since when he first burst onto the scene. I think at this point he should be a starter just like Duran. And you can interchange him and Arias. Arias can play in the middle, out wide. Same with Asprilla in the middle, out wide. And it's just staggering these things that could open up so many different possibilities for us. And it's this sort of reliance on these guys that have not been getting the job done. It's just been killing us. And James being a lot of people's guy, they're not really going to give him a lot of stick. And I feel like he kind of deserves more stick than he gets. It's kind of the same as guys like Richard Rios, Munoz, as we mentioned. And it's about just watching the game. You can judge a player just based on like, oh, he gets an assist or he gets a goal or anything like that. But as long as you watch the game, it's like, yeah, I feel like, I don't think we're too secure in this area of the field, because there's aspects that we're missing. And
you
as long
already
as
know,
guys, yeah,
it paid off maybe during Copa America. However, clearly teams figured it out. Teams are adjusting, and where did Vini's goal come in and Ciso's goal? They figured out the fact that they could put numbers on that side, or like do switch real quick and do, you know what I mean? Make it they could strategize so they have 1v1 situations on that left side. And even if it's not 1v1 situations, like in Ciso, he'll walk through everybody, or like Eder Valencia, or the Bolivian goal scorer. So yeah, man, I've always preached on our dependency on James because that means we lose a right side. Yeah. I've always said it. We lose the right side every time James plays. Unfortunately, he has shut me up, and he was playing well. But when he doesn't play well, what are we gonna do? We're still gonna play him? No, we gotta switch. There's gotta be a change. And if you're gonna play him, we got Quintero's the same attributes, bro. Still, like, yeah. But you're absolutely right, bro. This is dope. It's dope having you, Jay. It's crazy that you're able to jump in, and it's like this is the beauty of our ecosystem that we're trying to build through Parceros United, and like you embody that community that we're building. The fact that we could sit here and it's like, bro, I feel like I've been talking to you for like ever, for the fact that it's just been chat, right, Andy?
Yeah, for sure.
And then you hop in, and then bro, and just for everybody on the chat, like, yeah, that's Jay, the one that always be commenting, literally a lot to talk about from the beginning. That's Jay. And yeah, so we're thinking about continuing to do this now that La Cele is clearly doing its own thing. And like Fresh said earlier, we have to find ways to
make it interesting.
to make it interesting, because the playing style isn't working. When we winning and Lucho's killing it and James is scoring and everyone's dancing, it's easy to talk about it. But now Nah, I'm just kidding. We're gonna continue to do that. Where's everybody based out of? Where are you guys based out of? Where Jay? Where you based out of?
I'm from Queens, New York.
Oh, are you up there?
Yeah.
Yo, I'm gonna be up there next week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna pull up on you. Yeah, I'm gonna be up. I'm gonna be up in New York next week. Doing a little. We're studying the scene because I feel like the same way we're doing things in Atlanta and we're doing things in Miami. It's time that Parceros United
like
makes it up
New York is gonna be a place for all that. It's gonna be
I was about to say that it's all the strategy for Parceros United road to World Cup, but
Lorenzo Neta's starting to run out of steam, bro. Lorenzo Neta might not make it to the US, bro.
Brick City, Charlotte, New York, Jersey.
Man.
Charlotte, New York, Jersey. Yeah, I'm gonna make it a New York, Queens. I'm gonna make it a Jersey. I gotta go to Elizabeth. I'm gonna be there for a week, setting up shop, looking at some stuff. If y'all out there, y'all hit me up. I know, bro. Balvin's it's on Sunday though. J Balvin's show is in Brooklyn Sunday. I'm debating. I'm not gonna make it, but I'm debating about hitting up the guy so he can hit us up with some tickets for you guys. Telundo, where Telundo at? You know, Andy, you're the one that knows.
Telundo, no, parce, no sé.
Bueno, pero sí, no parceros. Oh, I live in Jersey too. Okay.
I said you to Jersey. I think he's talking shit about Jersey.
Oh.
I think. Pull up. My bad. I'm too old for this. PU means pull up. My fault. No disrespect to the Jersey folks. So.
Yeah, I told you. No, but parce, yo, what a dope episodes for having Eastside in and then Jay that we've been talking to for I don't know how long, been coming on the episodes every time Colombia plays, through the ups, through the downs. Por acá en tus nalgas. Yo, I got. Yo, that was hilarious, bro. Thursday in Newark. Nah, I can't be there. Yo, shout out to La Parcerita. Shout out to los Nicos. Shout out to everybody, yo. This is a dope episode, Faikol.
Aquí por lo menos gozamos because watching that game.
Nosotros armamos el parche. Si ellos no lo arman, what does Parceros United do? What do we do in Phoenix? Where we had to find guaro everywhere, bro. And that's what we do, literally. No, pero Parceros, La Re Buena. I want to thank you, Jay, for being part of the community, for stepping up. Like, bro, you always welcome to come back. We're going to be, bro, we might do it. We might be together next time Colombia plays. We might have to watch it together. And like, if everything goes well, we're going to be moving around every time Colombia plays and starting to activate the cities in the strategy of the road to the World Cup for Parceros United, hopefully. Pero, shout out to everybody. La Re Buena.
Ahí están activos Davey, otro Nico. Somebody said I found out the algorithm. Jay, where you at, man? He said he's 1 out of 5 Colombians around this.
I know, bro.
Yo, what's crazy? Casi tampoco, güey.
Found y'all through the algorithm for real? Yo, that's crazy, bro. Follow us.
The algorithm.
Follow us. Like for like, follow for follow.
El Parcero Faikol was in the chat going crazy.
Don't read it. We don't care, Faikol. We don't care about none of that. Parece, me callas bien, güey. Me callas bien.
El Parcero Faikol is my boy right there, yo.
Nah, I just fuck with you. Yeah, Phoenix. Shout out Phoenix. Pero no, parceros. La Re Buena. Yo, Jay, where's 1 out of 5 Colombians?
Virginia.
Yo, hit us up. Hit me up. Hit us on the DM. So I'll talk to you. I wanna learn where you at and all that stuff, because we're really trying to like activate the community everywhere. Literally, I've been doing a social experiment everywhere I've been going when I talked about Parceros, and I asked them to follow Parceros United through their Instagram account, and bro, it hasn't. Like, we're growing. The Parceros United community is growing. Literally, almost everybody has at least 5 followers that follows us. And then the first time I realized it, I was in Cartagena, and the guy was like, "Why does my cousin follow you? She lives in Australia." So it's like that, bro. Like we getting out there. Appreciate you guys. Need the Parceros United Parche Medellin. Yo, look at Beats, bro. Yo, Phoenix is showing up, bro. Everybody that came out to, hey, we're gonna pull up. Solo Cali, Nico. Solo Cali. Pero bueno, parceros, ahora sí ya la rebuena, ya. My voice is hurting. I gotta edit some stuff from the watch parties. And yo, shout out to Jay, shout out to Eastside, shout out to everybody that came out. Veets from Jersey now in Atlanta.
We'll be keeping an eye on everything, and we'll do it again in June.
Yo, hold on, one second. Clitos, you in Atlanta? Yo, speaking of which, we're doing El Parche in Atlanta at El Valle next Friday. Every Friday of the month, we're gonna start doing stuff in Atlanta, and then slowly but surely, we're gonna start rolling it out to other cities. So keep an eye on that, parceros. Watch party in New Jersey, pa' caer con la del Cali. Papi, it's coming. It's coming very soon. Stay tuned, parceros. Ahora sí. Jay,
Jay, appreciate you, man.
Parcero Dani, a la
Yeah,
buena,
appreciate you guys
parceros.
having us.
Suerte.